Hello everyone, this is a February 2020 Tenyi Metalfoes deck profile. So if anyone has any more ideas as to what decks I can combine with this Tenyi core, please comment. So I tried Tenyi as a pure deck with Yang Zing and with Phantasm Spiral, and I can compare the levels of synergy that each pair of archetypes has with the synergy that Tenyi and Metalfoes have together. And I can say that pure Tenyi beats any of these variants. With this deck, a lot of times you have a miscellaneous Metalfoes pendulum monster in your hand that can really only be used as your normal summon and as a beater. It's actually rare to see the right combination of scales and monsters to pull off the pendulum summon, but still, all the Metalfoes are normal monsters, so they work decently well. There's enough synergy where this is worth a try. So we start off with 3 steel in, so 1 of 2 high scales, and that's pretty much about it. You can normal summon it for some extra damage, sometimes pop your own Tenyi when it's a scale to set Metalfoes counter, but as I said in my Metalfoes Yang Zing video, there's really not much to learn with these Metalfoes monsters because they all have the same pendulum effect. So 3 silvered, another low scale here with decent attack, 2 gold driver, low scale, decent attack, 2 Vault Flames, and this is the one that you're not going to be normal summoning, but occasionally you can pendulum summon it as a strong beater and just to have that normal monster or non-effect monster presence. So 3 Ashuna for our Tenyis. I was thinking about not running this card at all, but I did decide to put it at 3 here because even though it locks you into worms for the turn, which isn't always ideal, the plus from the deck is very helpful. Sometimes you have a handful of Tenyi, so you'll only be summoning worms anyway, or you can just wait a turn until you pendulum summon. But in general, if you're mixing Tenyis with any non-worm archetype, you should just keep that in mind and beware. So 2 of all the other Tenyis. What's nice about the Tenyis and Metalfoes together is that all of the Tenyis can use their banish effects if you control just a Metalfoes monster. That's all you need. So bounce cards, lower attack, resurrect non-effect monsters, negate targeting, and recur from the banish pile, all with just the normal summon of a Metalfoes monster and not having to rely on Monk or Berserker having to constantly be on the field. For the spells, 3 Vessel, so another benefit of having Metalfoes in the deck here, because you can dump a Tenyi and then search a Tenyi, because all you have to do is normal summon a Metalfoes. Pretty easy to get that effect. 3 Super Poly. So I opted for this instead of Metalfoes Fusion because the 2 non-effect Metalfoes Fusion monsters can be made at least partially with generic materials. So it's an opportunity to use Super Poly and get rid of your opponent's board, establish your own board. 2 Flawless Perfection and 1 Terraforming. So Flawless Perfection is really great draw power in this deck, which is what this deck needs pretty badly because, you know, as I've been saying, even if you only normal summon a Metalfoes, you now control that non-effect monster that you need to draw with this card. And it also protects your Metalfoes from monster effects. And then 2 Twin Twisters, so there's no back row removal in this deck except for possibly some of the fusion monsters' secondary effects, so I thought it would be a good idea to main this card. For the traps, 3 Fists of the Unrivaled Tenyi. So an Omni Negate if you control Monk, Berserker, or any Metalfoes. Once again, maybe you made your whole play this turn with Tenyis, but you had that one lone Metalfoes in your hand that you're using your normal summon on, sometimes at the end of your main phase, just to get that non-effect presence on the field, and it works well with this card. And then 3 Metalfoes Counter. So this is the card that you set off of the Metalfoes scales. So when you pop your own Tenyi with a Metalfoes scale, or when your opponent activates something like Torrential Tribute, you can activate this card and special summon a Metalfoes from the deck. So for the extra deck, the easiest fusion monster to make is Adamant, because it only requires 1 other monster besides the Metalfoes, and it is a non-effect monster, so it has that synergy with the deck, so I put it at 2. And the other monster that works well with Super Polymerization is Crimsonite, so it's a little harder to make, but higher attack, still that non-effect monster. 1 Orichalc, which is double piercing for all your Metalfoes, and has that useful graveyard effect, the synergy with the main deck Metalfoes when it's popped. 1 Mithrilium, so recycles your Metalfoes counter and also bounces a card. And if you use it as fusion material, it floats into another Metalfoes. And 1 Alcahest, so This is just your non-destruction removal, just equipping your opponent's monsters to this card. And then for the links, pretty standard, 3 monks, 2 berserkers, and 2 shaman. So monk and berserker are really the focus because they're the ones you want to have in the field because you want to have that non-effect monster. But shaman has some synergy, a little more than usual in this deck because you can actually pop a card that your opponent controls whenever your Metalfoes attack. So pop Floodgates. 1 Draco Masters, which is actually even stronger in this deck than in pure Tenyi 2, because any deck that plays a lot of normal monsters probably can run this card, just popping your opponent's effect monsters up to the number of non-effect monsters in your graveyard or that you control. And also we have a land for Linkus, so this is just your generic non-effect Link 2. And that's it for the Tenyi Metalfoes deck profile for February 2020. Thanks for watching. Next video will be Digital Bug. See you later.